All right. Good evening, everybody. It's June the 24th. This is Rudy, and we're going to highlight a member of the Polar Pen corruption team, Mary Beth Kepner. And I'm going to make a video. I'm going to highlight every single one of these players as best as I can. If you're investigating this case and you see something that I missed, you want to correct a mistake, feel free to add in the comment section. But by the time I'm done, I'm going to have a single video on every single one of these players. But I'm going to start off with Mary Beth Kepner. Mary Beth Kepner, let me read to you what Sidney Powell has to say about Mary Beth Kepner on License to Lie, exposing corruption in the Department of Justice. Mary Beth Kepner is an FBI agent. As far as I know, she is still an FBI agent. There's been articles written on why is the lead FBI agent who botched the Ted Stevens case still working for the FBI. The reason is because the FBI doesn't care about corruption. Matter of fact, they probably rewarded her. But anyway, on page 412, what Sidney Powell has to write is FBI agent Chad Joy, who blew the whistle on the Stevens prosecution, left the FBI shortly thereafter. FBI agent Mary Beth Kepner, whose conduct in Polar Pen was highly questionable, and FBI agent Raju Basha, Bhatia, who testified wrongly or falsely in the Barge case, which is called perjury, by the way, and had to have assisted in hiding the yellow highlighted evidence, remained FBI agents. Did you get that? I'm fixing to show you a plethora of evidence. This lady is up to no good, but the FBI has not fired her at all, and yet she is responsible for the unjust, illegal prosecution of various men. And she has contact with Joseph Bottini, and I'm going to show you a Joseph Bottini linkage into the Schaeffer Cox case. Keep in mind, Chad Joy, who used to work for Mary Beth Kepner, blew the whistle on her corruption, basically withholding exculpatory evidence. Sidney Powell identifies her as one of the main players who withheld exculpatory evidence in Jim Brown's case with Merrill Lynch, and that resulted in Jim Brown, an innocent man, going to prison for over a year and having a devastating impact on his life. But Mary Beth Kepner doesn't care about ruining innocent lives. That's what she does for a living, is ruin innocent lives. So let's continue. I want to show you another picture, if I may. This is Brenda Morris. She is also part of the Polar Pen team, FBI special agent. There's a write-up about Brenda Morris, and we'll do a video just on Brenda Morris. But just to the left of Brenda Morris, which would be her right in real life, is Mary Beth Kepner. That's Mary Beth Kepner, and I believe that's Joseph Bottini. It seems like birds of a feather flock together, and we have an evil trio here of just nothing but corrupt people who do not mind destroying innocent people's lives. Let's go through what we found here. Let me read you this highlight here. While Comey did not identify the agent disciplined by name, details of Joy's, keep in mind Joy was Chad Joy, he's the whistleblower that initiated Judge Emmett Sullivan's Hank Schulke special prosecution to look into the corruption within the FBI. Details of Joy's complaint, basically Chad Joy was a whistleblower, went public in 2009. Joy made a series of allegations of impropriety against FBI Special Agent Mary Beth Kepner. You got that right there? Mary Beth Kepner, outlined in a report from the Anchorage Daily News. Now, I would like to read that report from Anchorage Daily News. It just so happens if you click on that, it's been taken off the web. This is FBI agent severely disciplined for misconduct in Ted Stevens case, director says, which this goes on to talk about Mary Beth Kepner. Okay, so wow, how about that? Mary Beth Kepner is one of the special agents identified as wrongdoing in Ted Stevens' case, and Sidney Powell identifies Mary Beth Kepner, this lady right here, as wrongdoing in withholding exculpatory evidence, basically highlighting exculpatory evidence and then keeping it from the defense, and an innocent man went to jail. Of course, Ted Stevens was innocent, and Mary Beth Kepner was identified as that, but yet she remains in the FBI. You've also got this article, FBI keeps agent who botched Stevens' case and hounds out the whistleblower. The whistleblower being Chad Joy, who worked for Mary Beth Kepner, loses his job. But then you got this thing. Why is the lead agent, Mary Beth Kepner, in the botch case against Ted Stevens still working for the FBI? Interesting. If we try to click on that and go over here, it doesn't bring up an article. Or maybe it does and it just takes a long time. I don't know. We'll let it continue to work on that and see what happens. But I tried to click on it before and I seem to remember it not working. But anyway, you got this article right here, Department of Justice, Mary Beth Kepner. You see that right there? Mary Beth Kepner. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. The lead agent in question is Mary Beth Kepner. The whistleblower is Chad Joy, who was Kepner's partner in the 2008 Stevens investigation. Goes on to talk about how they withheld exculpatory evidence not only in Ted Stevens' case, but in Jim Brown's case and also Schaeffer Cox's case. All right. And if you try to go to that article that's referenced in this article, why is the lead agent, it doesn't work. The links are slowly but surely disappearing. This next link is Alaska's Corrupt Bastards Club. Now this article has it all wrong. Everything is upside down. They have the heroes as being the FBI Polar Pen team. This is a very good picture of the FBI Polar Pen team. You've got Nicholas Marsh, who when Hank Schulke, who was directed by Judge Emmett Sullivan, who got fed up with prosecutors playing dirty and withholding exculpatory evidence, Judge Emmett Sullivan sicked Hank Schulke on these people. Nick Marsh was tired of he liked being the predator, but he did not like being the prey, and he committed suicide. So Nick Marsh, rest in peace. He's probably in hell right now if he didn't know the Lord Jesus Christ as a savior. But Nick Marsh's suicide. He slit his wrist. He didn't do a good job at that, so he ended up having to hang himself while his wrists were bleeding. His wife found him. Must have been a horrific scene. You've got DOJ prosecutor Edward P. Sullivan, and we will indeed do another video at some point in the future on Edward P. Sullivan. Matter of fact, I probably will do a video on Nick Marsh as well. If we go down the polar pen, this right here, you can see with Mary Beth Kepner in this, that I believe that's the same man right there. Okay, and then you have Bottini. Bottini was involved in the Schaeffer Cox case. He is notorious for playing dirty and withholding exculpatory evidence for the defense. Not only in Ted Stevens, but also Jim Brown and Merrill Lynch, the Enron case, as well as Schaeffer's case. You've also got the assistant attorney, James Gokey. James Gokey is part of the corruption. We'll do a video on him in the future. And oh, by the way, our highlight for tonight, FBI special agent. No one is more special than Mary Beth Kepner, who is suspected to have a flirtatious relationship with Bill Allen, who is a sex pervert who had sex with underage girls. But because FBI special agent needed Bill Allen to be a government informant, she had the hots for suspectedly, or I'm gonna have to pause this video. All right, I'm hoping this pause function works. That was Sean, and I have to answer the phone when he calls because you can't call somebody back in prison when they call. You have to answer the phone every time, no matter what's going on, even if you're on the bathroom or, anyway. Okay, so let's pick up. This Joseph Bottini is a really, really bad guy, and this James Gokey is a really, really bad guy. And Mary Beth Kepner, she was like one of the main bad players in Sidney Powell's book. I think I mentioned that already. She was the main player in Ted Stevens' false prosecution. Okay, so she's a really, really bad player. I finally found that article while Sean was calling. It's called "Why is the lead FBI agent in the botched Ted Stevens case still employed?" Right, and it goes on to talk about Kepner. in Mary Beth Kepner, in the throes of building a case against the late Ted Stevens, then one of the nation's most powerful senators. She's the reason we have Obamacare. If this lady right here, this lady right here is the reason America has Obamacare, because she caused Ted Stevens to lose his Senate race, and it caused Democrats to get just enough votes to pass Obamacare. Do you understand how evil she is? Okay, so I'm going to put all of these articles that I found on Mary Beth Kepner on, in the description bar. Let's keep going, right? Brenda Morris, Mary Beth Kepner, James Bottini. Okay, prosecutorial misconduct. Once again, Senator Ted Stevens, the latest victim. Okay. Oh, guess what? Mary Beth Kepner, right there again. Mary Beth Kepner, blow it up. Whoa, Mary Beth Kepner, she's just leaving a wake of destruction everywhere she goes. Prosecutorial misconduct, a disgrace to the American justice. She's still an FBI agent, as far as I know. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, she hasn't been penalized at all. Okay, we got this right here. This is the federal framing of Schaeffer Cox, and you got Skrocki over here. Now, Skrocki's very closely related with Bottini, right? And you got Karen Loeffler, who Skrocki is like sending his notes to. This entire band of justice systems are all tied together. They're all scratching each other's back. You got 50 reasons to exonerate Schaeffer Cox, and then Skrocki and Bottini are mentioned in here. Now, you say, what's the tie-in? Well, okay, this picture right here is Mary Beth Kepner, Bottini, and then check this out. You got Bottini and Skrocki working together to go against who? To go against Schaeffer Cox, right? So Bottini and Skrocki are working together. They're like a club of corruption, a club of corruption. Kepner, Bottini, and Skrocki. Also, Miss Lamoureux's in there too, all of her objections. And they just write line after line of lies, and they do everything they can to, you got Skrocki right there, and Bottini, okay? Check this out. Observations on Mary Beth Kepner and the Justice Department's impending report. Schulke, remember Hank Schulke's writing the report. Senator Ted Stevens, I watched the Bottini, Goki, and Kepner report. Okay, this is another article. Chad Joy's complaint, Mary Beth Kepner. It's just a lot of people are aware of what's going on, but nothing happens. Casualties of justice. Now this talks about the Nick Marsh suicide. Casualties of justice. The Justice Department clearly wronged Senator Ted Stevens. Did it also wrong one of its prosecutors? And it says, oh, poor Nick Marsh committed suicide because he was under investigation himself. Mary Beth Kepner, check this out. Chad Joy, an FBI agent involved in the case, filed a formal complaint against a fellow agent, Mary Beth Kepner, and several prosecutors, saying that Kepner had behaved inappropriately during the investigation. He alleged that Kepner had a flirtatious relationship with Bill Allen, who's a sex pervert who had sex with underage girls, suggesting that this, as a surprise present, she had worn revealing clothes when Allen testified in court. More important, Joy said that prosecutors had conspired to withhold exculpatory evidence. In particular, Joy said that even though Rocky Williams had been subpoenaed by both sides, Marsh sent him home to Alaska because he had fared poorly in a mock cross-examination, not because he was sick. You understand what's going on? This lady right here is at the center of playing unfair, which is another word of she is a corrupt individual that has resulted in innocent men going to prison. Ted Stevens, Jim Brown, Schaeffer Cox. She's the reason we have Obamacare, right? This lady is evil, and she still works for the FBI. And when I say my imprecatory prayers, I include the name of Mary Beth Kepner.